And let's get this going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Institute's Leading Edge. My name is Kent, and I'm very excited for this episode 70. We're going to be announcing something very big. The Institute's been working on a project that we call Project Jumpstart. This was a kind of a weird thought process that we had is we know that there's a lot of shops out there who need education and training or need at least some exposure to that. And we were wondering how we could get this out to more shops more quickly. So we thought, well, we do have quite an advanced consulting program. How about we do one of those, but publicly, meaning that we share the experience of a shop going through that entire process on our YouTube channel. And that evolved into what we're calling Project Jumpstart. So it's a little shorter. We're going to do 6-month stints with these shops, but it just means it's going to be more intensive than the 2-year program that we already have that stretches things out. So you guys are going to get quite a lot pretty quickly. So the premise here, we have 2 shops. We did a polling. We found these 2 awesome guys. We're very excited to start working with them. And we're going to come in. We're going to dive into their shops. We're going to interview their employees. We're going to do our full consulting program with them. And we're going to document the entire experience, both on our end and on their end, and share that with the public on YouTube. We're going to do a series, and it's going to be between the 2 of these guys. And we may or may not do more if it's received well. So with that said, today I've got Brian E. and Ed Q with me. I'm very excited. How about you guys? How are you feeling?
Very excited.
Yes.
Nervous.
Yes.
So Brian, can you give us a bit of a background as to who you are and to the viewers out there who are listening to this? By the way, if you're enjoying this and you're excited for this podcast, let us know in the comments down below. Go ahead and like and share this podcast as well. But Brian, who are you and what's your shop?
I'm Brian. My shop is European Motorsport of Idaho. We are a exotic car, German car specific shop: Ferrari, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Lamborghini. I've been doing this my whole life, probably going on close to 35 years now. I started with my father, who has about 65 years in the industry. He was a Porsche factory tech, and he started a dealership in Oregon. He retired in 2009. I decided it was time to start my shop at the time after I got out of the military, and I pulled him out of retirement and brought him up here, and that's how we started, with nothing in our pockets and trying to still the same way, but we're getting better at it.
Well, we're very excited to be working with you, Brian. We know that you're on the network, and been glad to see you be posting in there and engaging in there. Ed, introduce us to you and your shop.
Oh, my name is Ed Q, owner of Copa Mechanic. We are a general diagnostic and repair facility with emphasis on diagnostics. I started 4 years ago. I've been in the industry, mostly dealers, where I've got a lot of training as far as management, all of this stuff. But I was kind of forced into this by necessity because the economy was bad, the housing market crashed, all that fun stuff. I was, not making enough hours at work. So I started this doing mobile after work, kind of a side hustle. And then I decided to go ahead and just rent a space from Tom here, and it just took off. And I quit the mobile business, and now I've got this little, what I call a shop in a box, because it's just an overhang with a Conex box where I keep my tools. So, but that's who we are.
Wonderful. So, Brian, do you still work with your dad?
No, my dad retired due to a medical issue back in mid-January. So I took over completely at that point.
Okay. So one of the things that we're going to be doing with you guys is we're actually going to come and visit the shop.
Right.
We're going to do a full evaluation on your shop, much like we would with our regular program. We're going to look at your finances. We're going to look at your marketing, your demographic. We're going to look at the shop itself, how it's set up, and all that. Are you guys ready for that kind of invasion?
Oh yeah.
Well,
oh yeah. I told my wife that I'm gonna have to start cleaning the house so that way it's presentable when you get here.
Well, it's
So
the benefit here is like we want to paint this picture of the journey that shops can take, and that involves you guys. So it's a really good thing to see where you guys are where you're starting. And I believe we have 3 visits planned, 2 visits. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we're planning on doing a couple visits so we can see the progress over time with you guys.
okay, I think it's 2 is what I read.
Yeah, the first at the
Okay.
beginning and the end.
Right.
Awesome. So a lot of what we're going to be doing initially is we'll spend 2 or 3 days with you. I think the first time. And we're going to be filming a lot of content. We're going to be talking to you. We're going to be going over the whole plan with you in person and getting a lot of your feelings and experiences. And then we're going to have you guys document that on your own, kind of like your own personal diary, like video diary, so that we can share your experiences and your thoughts and your, maybe barriers of the things that you're experiencing as we work through this whole process. Do you guys have any apprehensions about this?
No.
Always. We'd be lying if we said we didn't.
I don't know. I don't feel inhibited in any way. So I'm welcoming it. I've always been under the assumption if I don't know what I'm doing wrong, how can I improve? And if you guys can show me the right way, I'm all for it.
What about you, Brian? What do you think?
At first, I should say, yes, I was a little apprehensive and nervous about somebody going through everything and calling me on the carpet on all the mistakes I made. But like Ed just said, if somebody isn't there to show me what I'm doing wrong and how to correct it, I'm never going to change. I'm going to stay in the same rut that I've been in for the last 13 years of business. And I can't do that anymore. I have got to do something different. I've got to make this better for not just for myself and family, but for my employees and my customers. I'm all for it. I'm all ready for it. I'm ready to get, I've been through boot camp in the military, and I expect this is probably going to be a little bit tougher.
So what are your initial expectations?
My expectations are to gain the knowledge and the tools to properly run the business and be successful and not struggle day to day and go, okay, how am I going to come up with the money to pay my employees, or are my processes correct? Are my goals not good enough or too much? I expect to learn and to go back to school, basically, and to learn what I'm doing wrong and how to correct it and make everything better.
Likewise, my expectations is hopefully you'll teach me how to do paperwork. That's my nemesis.
Yes.
Paperwork, get it away from me. I don't like it, but it's a necessary evil, and I know it. I do a little bit. My wife always on me for not doing it correctly, but that's what I hope to get out of it. More time to do the paperwork as opposed to just doing the paperwork, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the idea. I mean, we always want to provide an opportunity for owners to be owners of the business and not boots on the ground, not having to work in the shop 50, 60 hours a week. You've got other responsibilities that we want to work you towards. And that's kind of this idea is we want to show that pathway to go from where you guys are at to where we take most of our shops and be able to share that. With this change, there's a lot of work that's going to be needed. Are you guys at all apprehensive about having to do the work?
No, only the lazy man works twice, my mom used to say. So
exactly.
If you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it sometime. Or do it twice as hard. So no, I'm not apprehensive at all.
I'm more than ready for it.
Bring it.
Bring it.
You don't scare me.
So,
but I know that, and it's just because me and my experiences and what I've done. But there are people out there who don't like you meddling in their finances, or they're more secretive or more. I can't think of the word right now, but more privacy. They think you're infringing on their privacy, and that upsets people or makes people uncomfortable, should I say. But no, me, I'm an open book. Honesty is the best policy, and I can't improve. You can't show me what I'm doing wrong if I can't give you all the things you need to help me. And that's my stance on it. So if I give you everything you ask for, the training you give me would be better, I think.
So obviously we kind of went through somewhat of an extensive search. I'm getting feedback from somebody. Somewhat of an extensive selection to choose you guys. Reason being is because I feel like you are going to step up. And that's one of the biggest problems that companies like us face, is that, look, we can provide the guidance, we can provide the tools and the knowledge and the information, but ultimately for a lot of business owners, I mean, you actually have to step in and do the work. There is some level of commitment on your part. It's not like you're hiring us out or getting us to come and run your business. Why do you think more automotive owners haven't done something like this before, or at least haven't hired a consultant or even sought out something like the gear platform that you guys are on?
Well, from my experience, I can tell you it's a pride thing. On my own behalf, I have always talked with Cecil. I've met him. I've talked with a couple of people that use you guys, and it's all boils down to I'm not sure how to word it. Let me think on that one for a minute. It's pride. It has to do with pride, but it's also, we don't want people to see us fail. If somebody thinks we're failing, then how can we prove that we can fix their car, type of thing? I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's why a lot of places don't want to use a consultant, is maybe it's that reason. The other reason is they don't want somebody, like Ed said, poking through financials. What do you got to hide? I mean, if you're doing things right, open your books to you guys, let you say, hey, you screwed up there and you need to fix it there, and don't do it this way.
I think oh, go ahead, Ed.
I think also fear of failure.
Yeah.
And they don't want to fail and be seen as a failure. And they think they can do it themselves. Anybody stepping in and telling them they should do it this way when they've already got their mind set in their beliefs of how they should run it, or how they're wanting their business to run. I think that plays a part there a little bit. There is, and like you said, pride mixed in a little bit there too. I've got two shops that, I try to offer help, and they're like, yeah, I don't think I want it now because you seem to think you know it all, kind of thing. And that's the answers that I get. So I'm just like, you know what, I'll leave you guys be. So
yeah, it's an interesting position to be in, at least on our end, because we don't even know everything. But our job is to find those things for you and try to provide them for you, at least to get you some exposure to it. I think a lot of the apprehension is based on this. I mean, we work hard. This industry, there's love and stress and blood and sweat and tears that go into your businesses, and it costs a lot. It costs your time, it costs your health, it costs your family. And somebody who's done this for 15, 20, 30 years is going, I don't want somebody to come and tell me that I've wasted that time. I don't want someone to come and tell me that I've done it wrong for 30 years or 20 years or 15 years, because then I feel like I have just completely flushed all that time down the toilet. And it's a really hard thing to come up against. How do you think you guys are going to kind of deal with those punches as they come?
Well, there's a saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead me to water, I'm going to guzzle that thing down. You watch. But no, interesting story. And you just touched on it. I had a friend of mine who used to slalom ski, and he thought he was, the best of the best slalom skier. And so he went to take a course on skiing. He thought he was, Billy Badass, so to speak. But when he got there, he was retrained on what he was doing wrong. And it made all the difference in the world. When he got back, he was pissed that he'd been doing it wrong all this time. So like you're saying, people who've been doing it wrong all this time, then you change it for them. And they that sense of pride is like, bad information. And so they start blaming others, kind of thing. I don't know. But that was interesting that you brought that up, and it jogged that memory for me. But it's fear of being wrong, fear of being a failure considered. They see that as failure, I think.
Yeah. Brian, how do you think you're gonna what do you think you're gonna do to kind of mitigate that hurt of criticism?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I know it's coming, and I know there's going to be a little bit of salt being rubbed in the wounds. And I think I'm just going to have to, like I've been doing, is lean on my guys and do the work, do the footwork. Just like anything else in life, like you guys both have said, if you don't do the footwork, you won't see any positive results. I won't know what I'm doing incorrectly or correctly without taking those lumps. I have to have somebody tell me what is going on. That's the whole point of why I initially signed up with the Gear Network and reached out to different shop owners that are in the network, and to figure out what things I need to do to fix the shop, to fix the culture, to fix how I do things. I spend so much, like I said, so much time. It's been a strain on the marriage. It's been a strain with the kids. It's been a strain with the employees. It's hard work, and I'm going to have to find an outlet when I get told, yes, since day one, you've done things the exact opposite of what should be done. I'm going to have to find some way to fix it and turn it into a positive instead of dwelling on, okay, I screwed up, I'm a failure. No, I'm not a failure. I just don't know the proper way. And that's what this program, I'm hoping, is going to help me with.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? So on one hand, you've got, oh my gosh, I've been doing all of this stuff wrong. But on the other hand, you've got, oh my gosh, I have all of this stuff I can now do that I know will be beneficial to me. Instead of a lot of times, shop owners are out there and they're living in this kind of ambiguity of like, what do I do? How do I improve my business? I don't know. I don't even know what questions to ask or what things to work on or how to take action. So, like I said, on one hand, you've got, oh my gosh, I've done this wrong. And the other hand, great. Now I have an opportunity to make a change and make a difference. Yes. and stuff like that.
I think I'll be able to, sustain all these punches that you guys bring. I'm married, so I'm used to it. So it is what it is.
Well, what are you guys hoping that, so those of you who are listening, right, I'm going to try and address the audience now. Those of you who are listening, I want to know in the comments down below what you want to see from this series or this type of series. Maybe it's the issues that you're currently dealing with. Maybe it's the overcoming the mindset to change. Maybe it's the journey in itself and what the risks and really what's at stake in this adventure that we're all taking along. This is supposed to be a community event. So this isn't like we're going to come and we're just going to throw some information at you. We're actually wanting you to get involved. We want to make this an engaging experience for anybody who wants to tune in and watch the series on YouTube. We're planning on some really cool events and creating some community activity around this series so that we can get exposure for a lot of shops out there to at least feel a little vulnerable, or let the vulnerability not prevent them from joining in. And that's kind of the thing, man. Brian and Ed, you guys are taking it for the rest of them. It's a pretty violating experience to have someone come in and dig through your business initially. And you guys are taking that a step further and having it all broadcast so that everybody can see, all of the dirty stuff, all of the broken things, but also all the good stuff. So I'm trying to hit both things here. We want to put it out there that it's okay to have these things wrong in your business. It's okay. It's not like you've completely ruined everything, and also show people how to get out of those ruts and those broken things and fix them and move on with their business and actually get value. And you guys got into business for a good reason. Brian, what made you decide this was your career?
I don't know any other difference. I've done this, like I said, going out in the garage as a 5 and 6 year old, helping my dad put Porsche motors together. I don't know how to do anything else except for fix cars. I've tried a couple other things and I was never happy. I'm happy working on cars. What started me into the business, I'm not a people person. Everybody out there knows this. I don't get along with people. I'm very opinionated. I'm very verbal. And so working with, or under, I should say, other people was not a good experience for me. Let's put it that way. I do better on my own. So that was my wife talked me into, okay, why don't you go ahead and open the auto shop? You've wanted to do it since you were a child. That's all you've talked about since everybody's known me, is I'm going to own my shop. I'm going to own my shop just like my dad did. And that's where I'm at. I started my shop because that was a goal I had since probably 7 or 8 years old. That my mom said, that's all I've ever said is I will be like my dad. I will have a shop. And here I am.
So those of you who are listening, either watching or listening, comment down below if you are in the same boat as Brian, if you had the same experience where it was predestined that this is where you were going to end up. If you have a similar experience to Brian, let us know down in the comments below. Because Brian, I don't think that your experience is that uncommon in our industry. Yeah.
Nope.
Not to say that it's not special or that, you have your own unique challenges and stuff, but I want the people out there who might be questioning whether or not they need to work on their business to go, oh yeah, I am like him. Maybe I can improve. Maybe I can have a business that gives me the life that I want, Ed, same question, right? What made you pick this as your career?
Well, the years ago, actually, I started wanting to be a customizer. I wanted to customize cars and that sort of thing. After high school, I joined the military. When I got out of the military, I went to school for automotive and diesel, at UTI for automotive and diesel technology. I got out of there, started working I got my first job at Lloyd Wise Acura way back in the day. And it was a dealership, and I stayed in the dealership. They laid me off. I went to work for a gas station, totally different. I got to see 2 different sides of this business. They called me back to the dealer, and I was with the dealers, half my career. I think 20 years I spent with dealerships, and then the rest were independents. But the economy went south, and it was hard to make hours. Cars were being required less maintenance. There was just an onslaught of new stuff, new tools. I got married and I couldn't afford it, so I started doing my side hustle, and that's what got me into owning the business. I didn't think I'd be owning a business because I liked working for people. I was comfortable there, being able to get home. But now I opened up this. I just rented a stall. That's all I did, and it just took off from there. And then I got to liking it, and it was a new challenge in my career from all the other stuff that I've done. So that's what drove me here. And again, I did it with zero money in my pocket. I would go ahead and when I go fix a car, I'd say, okay, I diagnose your car, go buy the parts. When you get the parts, call me, I'll come back and put them on. That's literally how I started. And I started, adding, buying tools and buying equipment and all that fun stuff. So I'm in the process of calling my rep to order an alignment rack to go with my alignment machine. So that's where I'm at now, just 4 short years.
I really like seeing your update photos in the community. You were the one that posted your training rack that was like a dolly with a monitor and a computer and
yes,
that's him.
I love
yes,
that.
and that is, and because I'm a small operation, you got to stretch your dollars. You don't need the fancy equipment. You don't need all that other fun stuff. Just to, a Snap-on equivalent of what I have would run me probably 15 grand. I've got that one for $400. I got 2 monitors instead of 1. Everything was, Goodwill. I got less than $400 into that. And I do everything. I do training on it. I do I can put up my scan tool on one side and picoscope on the other side. Invoicing parts. I'll never go back to one screen. I'll tell you that. It's been fun using that and for $400. So there's ways to get around when you're owning a business, trying to grow it, to get the same result using less. I think a lot of us tend to overcomplicate things. I think we need stuff that we don't. And so that's my stance on that stuff. So yeah. That's how I've grown the business. I buy what's needed. I buy what's needed instead of buying what I want. There's wants and needs. You got to buy what you need instead of what you want.
I feel like a lot of people choose to live in complexity or remain like in the dark on things so they don't have to address the real problems. There's something to be said about living in familiarity. Right. I'm familiar with the problems I'm already dealing with. And then we have this want for something that's different, but it's that kind of stepping over the threshold and making that leap to go to that next step and addressing, okay, what do I really need to change? So I think oftentimes we feel more comfortable making things more complex for ourselves so we don't have to deal with it.
Right. Or you do the complex thing thinking this works better, but you're going around, the whole.
You get yourself tied up in the semantics of it,
Right.
Or the minutia, excuse me. Yeah. So right now I'm going to do a quick break. Those of you who are listening, if you have a similar experience to Ed, if you're a similar setup, let us know down in the comments below. I want to thank you guys again for listening or viewing this podcast. Both of these guys are actually on our Gear platform. They can tell you a little bit about it in a minute here, but you can check that out at gearforshops.com. I also want to let those of you know that we are opening our doors. We are finally going to start having live events, and we're gonna kick it off with a Mars conference. We did a very successful Mars conference back in March. And those of you who don't know, Mars stands for Marketing for Auto Repair Shops. So we're bringing in a lot of experts on different fields in the marketing realm to come and teach you about marketing your shop in person. And our Mars conference, our next one is going to be on July 30th and 31st. Enrollment's going to open up soon. I'm just keeping you guys aware in case you want to save the date. Next up, I want to mention that RLO Training is having an advanced selling strategies for the Service Advisor course. It's a 5-day, very intensive training with some follow-up where you cover everything from dispatch to phone sales to pretty much everything an advisor needs in a 5-day work week. And that's going to be on September 20th through the 24th. And again, you'll see registration for that come up soon. Make sure, those of you, if you like the content or you're excited about Project Jumpstart and you want to be notified when we do start publishing episodes, make sure you go to our YouTube and subscribe. You can also like and subscribe to our Facebook or our Instagram or our LinkedIn because we'll be posting on all of those this experience. And if you want to stay notified and watch those episodes and watch these two guys go through a pretty awesome transformation and see their experiences and maybe follow along with them if you've got similar issues, make sure that you are subscribed to that. So now we've got a little bit more time left, and I want to get into two things, but we'll start with the first one. So what are the biggest challenges or roadblocks that you are dealing with right now in your business or yourself? And we could start with Ed.
My biggest challenge right now is productivity, getting the work out. There's only two of us working, and the phones have not stopped ringing. I have some customers, two actually, yesterday, just drop off their car. They don't care when it gets done, just gets done. They want us to do it. And it's like, we get backed up. That has been my biggest challenge. I went ahead, I spoke with you yesterday. I'd mentioned I want to hire someone to shadow me to take off, to be my assistants, take some of my responsibilities away so that I can do more to get more out and get caught up, kind of thing. But that's been my main focus this year, has been to increase productivity, and it has increased, but still not to the level that I needed to, because I'm still 3 days behind on work. That's my biggest challenge right now.
What about you, Brian?
I'm my biggest. Along with Ed, it's the productivity. It's also me being able to keep up on making sure that everything is purchased that we need, such as parts, special tooling. Also, we're trying to learn how to sell the value of the job to the customer instead of just saying, "Hey, this is what it is. This is what's broken, and you either fix it or you don't." In the past, that was kind of the attitude of the shop in the beginning. Was the old school, like my father used to do. Look, this is what's broken. Here's a picture of it broken. Either you fix it or you don't. We don't care type of attitude. Well, we can't do that today's day and age. Maybe in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was okay and it was well accepted to be that blunt. We're learning today more and more people are vehicle and car illiterate, so they don't understand what a gas cap is, let alone why you have to change your spark plugs or why you have to change your oil. So that's a challenge for us, is trying to learn how to explain to the customer without sounding condescending and making them feel like we're treating them like idiots. That has been brought up in the past. When we explain something, you're making me feel like an idiot. Well, that's not our point. I apologize. That is a major roadblock in this business. I think a lot of techs and a lot of owners, "Hey, dude, this is the problem. We didn't fix it. We didn't buy it. We didn't break it." Or, that type of the mantra. We just can't do that anymore. So that's a roadblock, is the behaviors, my own behavior of putting up the wall and going, "Well, take it or leave it." Can't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, my dad actually uses that phrase a lot, a little differently though. I didn't buy the car. I didn't drive the car. I didn't break the car. I shouldn't have to pay to fix the car, right? The customers often pay us. They should be paying us to provide the service we pay. That's more in line with like the discussion of emotional discounting, which a lot of owners do that.
Yes.
Because we feel guilty or we don't feel up to par or whatever that mental roadblock is, but we don't charge enough for what we do. But anyways, the next thing I want to step. First off, what do you want the shops out there that are going to watch this series? What do you want them to get out of this?
Hopefully they get what they need out of our mistakes or our triumphs. This is partly, I'm kind of liking this whole concept that you're putting together, because I like training, and if I can do something, if my own actions can help you succeed or get you out of that dead end that you feel you're in, then yeah, that's more power to you. I'm excited if that gets you there. so to speak.
Brian?
I am agreeing with Ed. I think that not if, because I know good's going to come out of this, the shops that are serious about changing the way that they run their business and are looking at getting the proper guidance, if what is being done in our shop through the consulting and coming in here for the Jumpstart will take some of the peeling the Band-Aid off pain, so to speak, for the other shops and put it on our shoulders so that somebody will learn from our mistakes so they don't have to go through the same trials and tribulations that we have. I'm all for that. I'm all for helping another shop. And if I'm have to be the crash test dummy, so be it. I'll be Buster from Mythbusters. Go ahead and have at it.
It's great to have you guys in this. You know, we went through a lot of applicants. We actually ended up having like 80 applicants for this program, which was way more than we thought was going to jump out. Normally when we've done this stuff before, it hasn't been as well received. Even with the disclaimer that like, hey, all your dirty laundry is going to be aired for everybody to see.
Yep.
With this experience, initially it's going to be about 6 months that we're going to spend with you guys, but I feel like it's going to be a lot longer than that. We're likely going to do a lot more interviews afterwards. We might even continue the program. My dad has talked about working with you guys for longer as well.
I like that idea.
Yeah. For now, it's just 6 months.
Right.
One thing we're going to do is we're going to have a group. So both of you are on the Gearheads Network, and those of you who aren't on the Gearheads Network, you should get on the Gearheads Network. It's free to join. It's full of a lot of automotive professionals, just like these guys who are aspiring to become top shops in the industry. But we're going to have a private group there that's going to follow this entire journey between the two of you guys. So that you can actually go in and talk to the viewers and engage with the viewers on things that they're watching you go through. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, you had mentioned, let me step back a little bit. You had mentioned dirty laundry, you guys going through my dirty laundry and exposing it. You know what? I think everybody has dirty laundry. They need washed. So if they get to see mine, then, you know, it's going to match theirs as far as, you know, numbers and stuff like that. And hopefully they get something out of it and not see it as a negative, you know, dirty laundry. You know, sometimes we have to, if we're going to ask for help, we got to be able to accept what kind of help or any criticism you're going to give us. I tell my daughters, you only fail if you fail to try. So you need to just get out and give it your best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. So your good is better and your better is best, I tell them. And they are always trying. And when they fail, I picked them up, said, no, better, we'll do better next time. No big deal. You're going to fail. There's life. Like, I think it was you who posted that picture of the kid at the bottom of the step and all those steps going up in Gears for Shops. I feel like that little kid right there. That's me right there looking up. I got to get onto that next level. What's the next level? It's the first step. What's the step after that? Whatever it is, your goals take you. But you need to, you know, start somewhere. And I think that if you're not inhibited or if you don't let it out in the open, you're not going to improve. And that's hopefully somebody can take that to heart and do it, because I feel 100% on that.
I love that. We really are looking forward to this. We're hoping to impact a lot of shops doing this. Those of you who don't know the Institute or RLO training now, because we're working together, one of our biggest missions is to impact the industry. And that involves doing content like this. We actually have a ton of free content. I hate to say free, but that really is like we're trying to make a difference. So if you haven't checked out any of our content, I advise you to do so. It's not like we're trying to sell you anything. This really is just stuff to use. with this, those of you who are excited about this series that's going to come out, we're gonna really get in the weeds with this. We're gonna look at their financials. We're gonna be talking about, you know, their key performance indicators and what factors contribute to those, and those roadblocks they're going to deal with. And we're gonna really fully discuss those on this YouTube series. For those of you who are going to come and watch in the comments and in that specialized group we're going to put together on the platform. This series is going to publish sometime in September. We don't have a hard date on that, but we know that September is when we're going to publish, and we'll start working with Brian and Ed soon to get everything scheduled out and all that. So if you're looking forward and you want to stay notified when we actually do post our first episode in September, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook, to be notified on this. At this point, guys, we can wrap up. Anything you want to tell anybody out there who's going to watch the series?
Pay attention and see if you can get something out of it. Maybe you see something we don't. Chime in, let us know, that kind of thing. And getting back to what Kent was saying, the Institute has a lot of good courses. Their financials are, to me, top notch. I've been in this business a long time, and going through those financial courses that Cecil put out, put everything together, everything I knew as far as manager and dispatching and whatever. That's the only one that I had missing, and it's. I think you guys are giving it away at the price you have it. I think it should be worth more. That's just my opinion. A lot more. That's how valuable that thing is. Those courses are, and I
Thank you.
So,
Brian, any last words for those out there, people who are going to watch this? Or
buckle up, it's going to be a nice ride. I think it's going to be an eye opener for everybody, not just me and Ed and you guys over there at the Institute. I think those that are going to subscribe and watch the series and try to learn something from it for their own business, I think it's going to be a ride. I think, and it's going to be a good one. And there's going to be a lot of good that comes out of this for everybody. And like Ed said, you know, the information that you can get off the Gear Network or even off the Institute's website, like on my side, I have a service advisor and writer that started January 1st of this year, knew nothing about the industry other than going to car shows and hanging out with his buds and, you know, tinkering on his own cars. He took one course from Cecil and Kent for service writing and advising, and this guy can sell water to anybody that needs water. He learned that much in a short course, and I think that if that's an indicator of all the courses, you know, you'd be dumb not to sign up for the classes and take them and make your business better than it is.
Thanks for that, Brian. We really appreciate it. It always feels really good to hear positive feedback, you know, a little bit of validation.
Yeah, no, I think we wouldn't be on your platform if we didn't think that of you guys. It's like, and I did a podcast before with Cecil and you, and I'd mentioned it to him before. He says it's the best I've found out there that really speaks to me, that really just jumps out and say, wow, opens my eyes. It's explained that simple.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the kind words. Those of you who are watching and listening, we're going to wrap this episode up. Again, thank you, Brian and Ed, for being here. Thank you so much for the kind words about our platform. If you want to go check it out, just go to gearforshops.com. You can see both our courses and our community there where you can get involved. I want to remind you to like, share, and follow our page, both on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can keep notified. Remind you guys that to tune in on May 12th for episode 71, where we're going to be discussing labor rates. Very excited for that episode. You can find us, this podcast, The Leading Edge, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and pretty much anywhere you can search for a podcast to listen to. Thanks again, Brian and Ed, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.